Okay, here's a quick little video on reflection over the x-axis. Okay, I'm reflecting over the x-axis means I'm going to flip the function over. It's like flipping it over. And if I want to flip this over the x-axis, keep in mind the x-axis is located right here. This is the x-axis. I'm going to flip this point. Okay, now there's a couple ways to view this. One is graphically and one is using a formula. The formula does help a lot, and that's written down here, but we'll go through how we get that to begin with. Now, reflection means you flip it over. It's mirrored. So I'm going to start with A, and I'm reflecting over the x-axis. So here is my reflection line here. Okay, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do this. What we're going to do is I'm going to look at A, and I look at where it's located perpendicularly from the x-axis to there. That's 1, 2 units this way. So to reflect it, you flip it on the other side. 1, 2. And there's my new A point. A prime. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the next point. You can't do these, you want to do these one point at a time. By the way, I need to write that point down. 2, 2 reflected over here became 2, down 2, 2, negative 2. There's my reflection of the A point. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a reflection of the B. Now B is on this side of the line. Go perpendicularly. That means just straight down. I go not straight down. I got 1 unit this way. So that means I go 1 unit this way. That means my new B is here. So we call it B prime. B prime is now at 1, 1. The final point graphically is C, and I want to flip it over the x-axis so it's there 1 unit. So I'm going to go this way 1 unit. The new C prime is located there. Okay, and that gives me the point 1, 2, 3, 4, down 1, 4, negative 1. Now the shape, the new shape, is A prime, B prime, C prime. And that shape is the same as the original shape. It's just been flipped over the x-axis. It's really sometimes difficult to see, but what you want to do is pay attention to one point at a time. Now I want you to observe something here real quick. To create a rule, and sometimes knowing the rules is best. And you could probably use a little cheat sheet when you're taking your quizzes and stuff, because it's on the same cheat sheet you got this video. But notice how these 2 points are over here. When I translated it or I reflected it, I got this point. Notice that the only thing that changed was the sign of the y value. So let's check B. I look at B. Here's the original point. I look at the new reflected point, and I totally wrote that wrong. Let's see what B is. B is over 1, up 1. That should have been positive 1. I apologize. So that means when I reflected it, the only thing that should have changed was the negative 1 changed to a 1. The y changed its sign. Finally, let's look at C. C, the original point was 4, 1. The new point's 4, negative 1. Notice again, all that changed is the y. Creating a rule. The rule is if you have any point, call it whatever letter you want to. Call it Q. If I translate or reflect it over the x-axis, my Q prime, or my reflected point, will only have a change in the sign of the y. The x remains the same. So in other words, if I can pick any point, 7, negative 2, I know I can translate that to 7, positive 2. Or I can say 5, 3, would translate to 5. Now that's got to change, negative 3. So I can do image points real quick with the rule. That's it for reflections over the x.